Hello all. In this session, we're going to understand describing, grouping, and joining the pandas data frame once after it is created. First of all, let us understand what is describing. There are various ways of describing the pandas data frame. If you actually want to understand describing by using various methods which are applied on the pandas data frame, we'll be able to get the key information such as content, structure, and statistics with respect to the data frame that we have created. So let us dive into the details of this describing. Now understand. In order to, first of all, preview the data right after the data frame is created. Just to have a preview, we can use the functions such as head and tail. We already discussed about the head in the one of the previous session. Head is going to give you first few rows. Default head value is first 5 rows. You also can adjust the number of rows as per your requirement, but by default, the parameter of the rows, the number of rows that can be listed is 5. Tail also is going to give you the last few rows of the data frame. Now, let us print the first 5 rows of the data frame. Simply just say print function in which df, data frame is an identifier of your data frame that you have created, dot head. When you say dot head, the first 5 rows will be printed. Here in this, if you can use a parameter 10, what will happen? The first 10 rows will get printed. Similarly, if you say df.tail without any parameter, last 5 rows will get printed. If the number of rows is less than 5, whatever the number of rows that are available in the entire data set will get printed. Similarly, if you give a parameter here, only the number of rows which is equal to the parameter will get printed. So here, since we are printing the tile of 3, last 3 rows will get printed. Now, how will we retrieve the basic information? When we say info, df.info, it displays summary of the data frame, including the column names, data types, and the non-null values. It's going to give you everything, such as the column names and the data types, what are the data types that you used, and the non-null values. And when you try to print a shape, it just will give you the dimensions, the number of rows and the number of columns. You should say df.info. What will happen? You just immediately are going to get the column names, all the column names, and in which the data types that you used in the column names and all the non-null values of those columns will be printed. This is the total information which is with respect to your data frame that's been created. Shape, simply, it's a two-dimensional array. It is going to give you the number of rows and columns. Now, let us understand. There is something called a describe function. This describe function is going to provide you with the summary statistics, the count, mean, standard, minimum, maximum, etc. for numerical column by default. Now, when you say describe, what's going to be described? The total count of a row. What is the mean of a specific row? Standard deviation of the specific row, minimum value of the specific row, maximum value of the specific row, etc. It is going to give you an entire description of a single column or the multiple columns. Here you should be able to specify the number of columns in which you would want to get the statistics. Okay, so you just need to pass the number of columns that you want to specify. For all the columns, numerical plus categorical, use include all. So here, if you want to use one column, you need to specify the column name, or if you want to get the statistics of all the columns, you should specify all. Okay, so when you say describe, the describe function exclusively works for numerical columns. Okay, as I told you, it's going to work on only the numerical columns because count, mean, standard, min, max will only work with the numerical columns as we discussed. Now, here what we're going to say, when we say df.describe including all, it just is going to give you the summary for all the columns. When you say describe, it is going to give you only for the numerical columns. But when you include all, it is going to give you a summary of all the columns that are present in the data set. Now, the next thing is column-wise analysis. How will we be able to go with the column-wise analysis? You should say, when you say print df.columns, it is going to give you the number of columns. If you want to check the data types, you should say df.dtypes. Dtypes meaning all the data types that are actually used in the data frame will get listed. The unique values in a column. Now, if you do want to get to have only the unique values, not repetitive, non-repetitive values, you just can say column name dot unique. Here, understand carefully, the syntax is df You should start the angular brackets in which the specific column name should be enclosed with the quotations. Then you should say dot unique. When you say unique, this unique function is going to provide you with all the unique values in the data set. Okay, so by which you will be able to get only the unique values which are not repetitive. Okay, repeated values will be omitted. Okay, the count values in a column. If you want to, count the number of values in a column, you should say value underscore counts. The column name dot value underscore counts prints what? It is going to only print the total number of values under such column. Understand? There may be a small confusion in the previous one. Here, when I say non-repetitive values, I will give you an example. Let us say age. Age is 32, 32, 45, 56, 97, 56. Here, what are the unique values? 32 is unique value, which is not, this is a repetitive value. This 32 is the first instance, which is non-repetitive for the first instance. Second instance is repetitive. 45, never repeated. 56, never repeated. 97, never repeated. 56. Yes, it is repeated for once. Okay. So, only the first instances will be taken. If it is repeated again, that will be omitted. So that is what the unique values. Unique values here are 32, 45, yeah, 56 and 97. So these are the unique values. And similarly, count values, meaning total count, if you want to get value underscore counts. So this is going to give you the total count of the specific column. Now, how to deal with the missing values? We already have seen how to handle the missing values in the first session using the pandas data frames. I want you people to refer that specific video. Thank you.